My name is Marie Ray Garul, and I've been a resident of Elysian Valley since 1962.
1965.
1974.
1962.
I've lived in this community for 37 years now.
It's its own little community that's away from everything.
Elysian Valley is a small neighborhood in between the 5 freeway and the LA River.
Well, I really like growing up here. It was a fun place to be. Of course, you could go down, play in the river. You could go across the river, play on the railroad tracks. And a lot of boxcars would open up pigeon feed, and they'd leave a lot of stuff on the railroad tracks. A lot of players and different stuff that kids shouldn't play with, but we played with. And on the other side, Dodger Stadium's really close. In fact, I was watching them build the Golden State Freeway in the early 50s. I watched them build Dodger Stadium. The whole neighborhood's close to downtown LA. It's really a great place to be. But as a kid, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was always entertaining. They'd put the mounds out there. We'd build go-karts. We'd come down on the hills from the go-karts. And then we'd take them, try to run them down the river and almost kill ourselves. But it was like what a child does. It's fun. Till mom gets mad.
We would have this big wheelbarrow, and we would take it down to the river, and we would scoop up whatever we could catch, and mostly we would call them pollywogs at the time, and we would bring them all the way home. And then the next thing you know, we'd go in for dinner, and just these pollywogs were just all over the place. So we just had fun, just playing around in the river. It didn't have as many shrubs as it does now, but it was just more like water and rocks, and it was just adventurous. And we were always told not to go down there, but we did, and we always had a good time down there. We would meet our friends down there and just spend the whole day down there.
In the old days, every manhole cover had a different face on it. If you look at them carefully, they all look like kind of Felix the Cat is what I always thought it was. And it was actually, as a kid driving along the 5 or going along the river, always looking for the faces, the cats.
We'd go down there and hunt for old baseballs that rolled down or softballs or whatever. There would be little puddles we'd go into. We'd actually go in there and find some catfish, fish for catfish with your hands. In fact, Gary and I, we walked across the river a lot of times on our way to school, so we didn't have to go all along the bridge.
Take a shortcut.
Right, fun.
Yeah. And then actually back in those days, there were frogs. We would go down there. I enjoyed watching the frog lay their eggs, and then the eggs would hatch into pollywogs, and then the various stages of the pollywog development into frogs, and then they would hop up the bank of the river and into the neighborhood. There would be frogs all over the place.
When I was younger and we'd ride bikes for fun, we'd ride along the river, ride along the streets and race, and go into the river.
Oh yeah. Last weekend we walked down like pretty far over there, and we saw some fish hopping out of the water, and we there was this little passage to the other side of the river, and we went through that, and we like, and there was a tree, so we found this really cool cranny inside, where like it was just like a clearing in all the plants and wildlife, so it was like a great place just to hang out.
My brother Raul and my brother David, who's not here, they would come home and they would stuff a frog or two in their pants pocket, and then and my mom said that she would start when she would wash the clothes, and then in the tub, the washing tub, you would see a floating frog in there. It was dead, but still kind of exciting for my mom.
For me growing up, they didn't actually let me come to the river. It was more when I was in high school that I will come to the river and I will walk, and it actually helped me to de-stress. And then I will see the nature, I will see the birds, I will see the fishes, I will see very little few frogs that were left, and it actually made me feel like I was away, like I was camping. When I was growing up, we did a lot of camping. So then it actually brought memories of that. It brought me memories of forgetting that stress was out there, forgetting that problems were out there, papers needed to be turned in. It was like my moment with nature. And that's what I like about the river. It's not only a place where I will also do exercise like on a Saturday morning, do a couple of miles, but it was my moment. It was my moment to think on what I wanted to do in life, my moment of reflection. It's very hard to explain how serenity will happen to me when I will be walking through this river.
We, just enjoyed the river. It was our backyard, and it still is our backyard today.
It's so unique. We're what 7,000, 8,000 population, sandwiched in between the river and the 5 freeway. To have us be in the heartland of the city. If you want to go to the park, you want to go to Dodger Stadium, enjoy those venues, go to Chinatown, go to downtown LA, and you're in the city. But then to think that you can step away from that if you want to, and step into the river environment, it almost transforms you into a whole different space within walking distance of one's home.
In a regular park, you wouldn't see as much wildlife and like just natural plants and stuff as you see around here. And I think it's definitely better. Races. Yeah, you can't do stick races.
So this is my favorite spot, and the reason behind it is because this is the natural part of the river. You have no cement. You only have the cement that's on the outside, but you're able to see deep inside and actually see fishes and see how sometimes when the birds go in there and catch fish, and you're able to see how the water goes down the rocks, and you're able to really appreciate how nature is. And when you look around, yeah, you can ignore the buildings and the houses and stare at the hills and actually think to yourself, like, I am lucky to have this spot.
There's definitely a small town feel to living in Elysian Valley. There was a bubble where we could ride our bikes along the streets, along the river. It's a small town.
I think that in order to appreciate Elysian Valley, you have to come down here and take a drive, because it's surprising what you'll find. I'm surprised about the things that I find out about the neighborhood. Every day, there's something new. There's something else going on. New restaurants are opening up. It's an exciting time to visit Elysian Valley, live here, work here.
Elysian Valley means to me peace and serenity. With my dogs, we love it.
The places that little hole in the wall that only you know. I really enjoy that. I think that's wonderful about this neighborhood. It's got some history.
Elysian Valley for me is family, and it's family manifested in my immediate family and in my extended family, which are all my neighbors.
I have been here since 1941, and I love this Elysian Valley.
The families here that I've grown up with were raised together, and now we're raising our children together, and I just love the neighborhood. We have barbecues on the weekends, and our kids hang out together, and it's just the type of community that's really, it's like a small village, and it's been really wonderful having all these families grow up together, know each other, and be there for each other.
It's very exciting and it's very refreshing for me to be able to just continue to witness, great things happen in my community, and so I'm excited to see what the future holds.